Our final presentation of the morning session will be International Education Enterprises.
Every year, hundreds of thousands of students look for a summer internship. Most of these students, they're looking for an opportunity to advance their professional skills, get to know the industry, and maybe be offered a job at graduation. However, unfortunately, most U.S. internships are not set up this way. U.S. internships, a majority of them, see students not as a valuable member of the staff, but more as an office assistant, someone who can help out with menial tasks. I actually had an internship just like this. I worked on Capitol Hill a few years ago for a senator, and I really thought this is a great way to indulge my passion for politics, get to see the legislative process in action, and even interact with the senator on a daily basis. I had the exact opposite experience. Instead, I was put in the dungiest, darkest back room in the office. I had to deal with a constant flow of mail, and I only saw this senator twice over a semester-long internship. Obviously, this did not advance my skills at all or really benefit me in any way. Unfortunately, most U.S. internships are like this and does not help the students. But the world is a lot bigger than the United States. Right now, in developing countries, people are growing. Companies are demanding U.S. talent. They want students to come in and actually bring their knowledge from their classes and apply it to their work. So there's a gap here. The gap is that U.S. students are demanding high-quality internships, and companies in foreign countries are demanding U.S. students. And we seek to export U.S. talent to these developing countries in a meaningful way. We do this by creating programs that seek to develop internship skills of students and build their professional experience. Here at IEE, we want our students to experience the present while building their future. Hello, everyone. I'm Parker Hine, and I am currently a senior here at GWU. I am the co-founder and co-CEO of our company, and in IEE, I mostly handle the sales and business development.
Hi, everyone. My name is Garret Dereus. I'm co-CEO and founder with Parker. I'm a law student, second year at Tulane University Law School. I'm also a GW alumni. I graduated in the class of 2010, and I'm very excited to be back here at GW. Now, let's talk a little bit about the market. In 2011, approximately 300,000 students, they studied abroad. Now, the key thing to note here is that those students, they studied abroad. They went to another country and they took classes, either with their university or with a university in the country, a local university. However, these students, they were not doing an internship program. In fact, most universities, they're not equipped to offer internship-only programs. The reason is because universities have historically and continuously been focused on offering classes for students. Students need classes to graduate, so universities are not focused on offering these internship programs. And that's where we step in. We're a game changer because students are now realizing that they have to have an internship in order for them to be able to get a job in the current market. They need the real-world skills, the talent, and the abilities that come from an internship. In fact, all students nowadays are trying to get internships in every way possible, as Parker was saying. So we founded two programs. We founded Experience Panama and Experience Chile. Both of these programs are in operation. We're recruiting for them right now, and we've sent many students abroad in the past. And in fact, we partner with a large number of different companies in both places, companies and organizations. We have partnerships right now with different companies like HSBC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Dell Panama, the United Nations Development Program. IEE has exclusive agreement with these organizations in Panama to provide student interns for their offices and for their programs. And these organizations, students are very excited about coming to them, and we've actually, we make each program partner sign an agreement saying that they're going to provide the student with a high-level internship, a place where they're going to be able to engage their skills, and that they're not going to just be shuffling papers. So we vet each partner and make sure that they are going to provide students with a very high-quality internship.
So we don't just give the student the internship, put them on a plane, send them down to Panama and Chile, and say, good luck. Hope you figure the rest of when you're down there. That's why we make sure that we provide everything for the student, including the housing, the cultural activities so the students can experience the country that they're living in, insurance, in-country transportation, so we're there at the airport picking you up. An in-country representative, in case anything happens in an emergency situation, there'll be someone that they can reach and that can help them. And an internship advisor who can answer any questions that's particular to their internship. Really found that by creating a whole holistic program where students can live naturally in a country and really get into the internship, that they have that is the best way for them to actually learn and succeed in a professional environment. So let me tell a little bit about the IE history. I know you're probably looking at Garret and I and saying, you guys are young, neither one of you guys are Hispanic. How did you create two different internship programs in two separate countries? Well, actually, this idea got started here at GW. Several years back, Garret and I received a research grant from Vice President Leo Chalupa here at GW to study globalization in Panama. So we go down to Panama, we meet with all these CEOs and presidents at different companies, just ask them what they thought about globalization. They all had great answers, but what was really interesting was on the way out, they asked us if we could get GW talent, if we could actually find some students who could assist them with certain projects. So that got the wheels ticking. Garret and I, entrepreneurially minded, we thought this could be a good idea. So in the summer of 2010, Garret and I brought 15 students down to Panama to do like a test run to see if this was a viable idea. And all the students, they loved their internships, and it worked out really well. But Garret and I were thinking, we can't be here every summer taking care of these students for 2 months at a time. So we started looking around and actually found an in-country local partner who would be able to provide the housing, the insurance, and take care of everything for the students in-country. So Garret and I can be in the United States, finding internships for students, reaching out to those students, recruiting, and then we can send them off to Panama or Chile, and they're taken care of in a safe manner. Well, summer 2011 went by, and we continued our Panama program. It was a success. But we also wanted to expand. We wanted to go to new countries. So we did some research, trying to find some different locations. We considered Europe. We ended up finding a company in Chile called Contact Chile who already offers internships, but was having a lot of trouble reaching the U.S. market. So we reached out to them, designed a contract so that we could send students to there, and they provide the internship and the entire things necessary to make it an IE program, the housing, the insurance, everything that we require. And so right now, for 2012, we are currently recruiting for these two programs, Experience Panama and Experience Chile. And we're recruiting at over 70 different schools. We actually expanded away from GW and are starting to look at other schools. And we mostly use career services websites to help that. And since we started recruiting for summer 2012, we've had over 1,000 applicants. So clearly, this is a very popular program, and students really see the value of our program.
Now let's talk about the market competition. There are a few other companies that try to provide internship-abroad programs. Most of these providers do not offer our comprehensive program. They lack, for example, the insurance, the emergency representative, and sometimes even the housing. They just send the student, they say, here's an internship, go at it. But here at IE, we have this comprehensive program. But we've actually found that our programs are 50% less than our competitors. Now you may be wondering, that doesn't make any sense. How can you offer a higher quality program for less cost? And the reason is because what we do is what Parker just described. We partner with local entrepreneurs and local companies who are able to hire local workers. Those local entrepreneurs can pass the cost savings on to us. Now, most of our competitors, they try to do everything themselves. They have large U.S. staffs. They send down the staff to the country, and then they try to set up, they try to find a few internships themselves. But they're paying those people U.S. wages. And so the result are very expensive programs for students and an inability for them to expand. So here we're offer to able more services for a lower price, which is great for students. And in fact, because these other programs are so limited, because they're so expensive, they're not able to go into many countries. And so in Panama, we're actually the only program provider of internships. That means that we have 100% of the market share. When you have 100% of the market share, your ability to expand is not limited by capturing market share from competitors. It's only limited by your ability to scale up. So as IE expands, what we're going to be doing is increasing our number of partnerships in country, which will allow us to facilitate more students going abroad.
So we realize that not everyone wants to go to Latin America. People just have other interests. So if we want to expand to even more countries. And so by the summer of 2013, we plan to expand to 3 different new locations. Beijing, China, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and Dubai and the United Arab Emirates. And China is the closest one that we will be expanding to, just because we have already a number of contacts in Beijing, set up a few initial contact with companies that would be willing to host interns. And this summer, in June, I plan to go to China and meet with try and find an in-country program partner to provide the housing and everything that we require for the student. So that's the easiest expansion. And then we have Rio de Janeiro and Dubai. And we're thinking about using a Chilean model that we to expand to these countries, and that is finding a company that already offers 5 to 10 internships, but is having trouble reaching U.S. students. They can't connect, and then connecting with them and making an official IE program through negotiating a contract.
Now let's talk about our finances for just a second. During the first quarter of 2012, we set a goal for ourselves to recruit 10 students. We met this goal. We surpassed it, actually. We're currently recruiting for the second quarter of 2012. We set a goal of 20 students. We expect to surpass this goal as well. During the third quarter of 2012, we won't have any sales because that's when we're actually providing the program during the summer. Students are actually there. They're not like signing up for the next summer. And during 2012 in total, we expect to send 55 students abroad. During 2013, as Parker said, we're going to be expanding to 3 more countries. This will give us total capacity of 150 students, which will greatly increase the number that we're sending abroad. And by 2014, we expect to expand to 10 additional countries, which will give us 15 in total, giving us capacity to handle 500 students. And as I said before, we're only limited by our scale, so as we're scaling up, we're going to be increasing. And in fact, we make really good margins off each additional sale. We have about 95% margins on cost, which is really great for any industry. And so that's one of the ways that IE is a great investment. And so how we're going to use the funds in 2013 is expansion through to Beijing, Dubai, and Rio. As Parker just mentioned, those are our 3 next stops. And if we win the GW Business Plan competition, we're going to be using those funds primarily for expansion purposes.
Our product is already proven. We've already had a number of students participate in our programs over the years, and they have really gained from it. Some highlighted students that come to mind, we've had a few students actually already published with the help of their employer in Panama, where they were able to do this internship and then have their name published in an official legal journal. Another student who worked with a financial company in Panama and directly with the CFO of this company is now in the final rounds of Goldman Sachs interviews in New York, and they specifically told him during his interview that they liked what he did in Panama and they want to see more students of this caliber. And then finally, one of the really impressive students, he worked for the United Nations Development Program, and he worked in one of the offices that did like sort of human indexes for the region, so comparing how people live between countries. And he wrote a paper over the entire summer, and his staff was so impressed with him that they actually published this paper through the UN. So he is already a published student as a sophomore with the UN. And not only that, they offered him a job at graduation. So he is set for the rest of his college career. So our product is proven, where students are doing it, and we can continue to deliver these type of high-quality internships. And the student abroad market is huge, and it is growing. But there's only a limited number of internship opportunities for students. We seek to capitalize on this gap by providing high-quality programs that are affordable, give the student an immersive experience, and a high-quality internship. We can do this because we have the knowledge, we have the product, and we have the know-how to get it done. Not only that, we have the desire, the drive, and the staff to make it happen. And with the help of the GW Business Plan earnings, we can continue to do this goal and complete this goal quickly and efficiently. IEE, experience the present, build the future. Thank you for your time.
Okay, Ed?
Parker, just a couple questions. It wasn't readily understood by me as to how, if I'm a student at GW or Georgetown or American, how I find out about IE and how I access that. Could you kind of expand on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. We primarily use career services. So like we'll be able to list an internship, one of the internship position on a website, and that student can view it, and then that's how you connect to our program. We're also expanding to other sort of markets to connect with the student. This includes utilizing study abroad offices, providing literature for the student, using Facebook and Google Ads is another area that we really want to expand into. But primarily now it's mostly career center utilization, which has been really effective for us. And we currently operate at 7 different schools and use the career centers to that end.
You spent some time on housing and travel and having an advisor there, but I didn't hear a lot about the content or the syllabus, if you will, of what the intern actually gets out of that when they're in country. And is that customized, and how are you going to handle that?
I can talk about that. We, in fact, customize the program for each student. So, if a student comes to us and says that they want to do a venture capital focus, but they want to do something with maritime law, we can customize that. And we customize the program for each student's individual needs. And that customization actually leads to very high levels of sales because, a lot of different organizations, they're like, take it or leave it. But when we're customizing things for students, we're able to get them exactly what they need, which leads to very low, turnover. Most students who want to get something that's customized.
Thank you.
What gives you more access to internships than your competitors?
Well, it's simply because we have developed such a strong network, primarily in Panama, that we are able to reach out to different institutions or hear about someone in the HR department and simply call them up, send them an email, and then start a discussion with them. It's really sort of like yours for the taking. There's so many internship opportunities and no one's going after them that it's really, it's been very easy for us to contact these companies and negotiate some sort of agreement where they take only our students opposed to other programs.
Right, and once we sign an agreement with them, then it kind of basically becomes an exclusive agreement to provide internships abroad for that organization.
I didn't see your financial model on the cost side, right? So it sounds like you have good margin there. How about your partner? How do you share the profit with them? And what you see the hurdle in those countries?
Well, like I said before, we have 98% margins. We didn't provide every cost breakdown because we are a functional company, and like I said, there are some competitors. But we do have 98% margins, and we make a profit off each individual student that goes abroad. So we have very long, detailed contracts that specify costs. They're about 19 to 20 pages long that we have signed with different program partners. So we do make money off each individual student.
Do you do the profit sharing with them? How much the profit they take from your revenue?
Well, we just have a set cost that we pay to the partner institution in country. So to Espanol in Panama, we have a set cost that we pay them, and to Contact Chile, we have a set cost that we pay them. And that's guaranteed in the contract. They're legally binding contracts.
Thank you.
The tuition cost at $3,800, is that just based on housing cost and other costs in Panama and Chile, but then will that change among different countries?
We try and keep it the same price across countries. So what we do is we negotiate the contracts with each individual local partner, and they give us this X amount. And then everything between that X amount and $3,800 is what we take, and we use that for operational expenses. We want to keep this at this number for the foreseeable future because it's hard, always to push up your prices. And plus, kind of looking around at the current cost of other markets, we think this is a sellable number. So that's one of the reasons we kept that. But there's obviously discrimination between the two companies. So like the one in Chile, they gave us a lower number than the one in Panama. So we don't make as much on the Panama program, but we make a lot more on the Chilean one. So that's sort of how we deal with that. And we see that to be a number that we'll keep in the foreseeable future.
For expansion, why did you choose Beijing and Dubai over places in Europe?
Well, that's actually a really good question. We want to focus on developing countries still, just because there's a lot lower costs there. We did actually try and do a program in Europe. Tried to do one for 2012, but it was just so expensive. And also, in Europe, the market's already saturated. There's tons of internship abroad programs already up in use in Europe, but not so much in the rest of the world. So we decided that would be our market to go for. Also, the countries that we chose here were based actually on student feedback. Some students had inquired if they want to do a place like that. And so we kind of looked at places that were attractive, see places that were growing in a business sector, and also kind of looked at our contacts, who we know, how feasible and how easily we could expand to these countries.
Any final question? I think the judges are satisfied. Thank you, gentlemen, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.